Hi, I'm Charlie, and this is another episode of Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders is available both in podcast form, wherever you get great podcasts, and on video on our YouTube channel, Cooking Secrets for Men. So I want to introduce my guest today, David Lee. David?
Charlie, so good to be here with you.
Pleasure. Thanks for coming. David is the president and general manager of Radio 89.7 Milwaukee, which is our NPR station, WUWM. I have to say it that way because I always...
That's how you hear it, right?
I put an extra U in.
Well, that's
UWM.
That's also like that's also the way in your radio voice, right? WUWM.
Right. So David is on a couple of lists that I wanted to talk about. First, you're on the list of the 35 most influential Asian Americans here in Wisconsin. And then you're on.
It's a big list, though. I'm one of 30. I'm one of 35, but that 35 is real. There's a lot of 35s.
That's great. Well, you're on it, and then you're on the list of notable minority executives here in Wisconsin. So good list to be on. So let's talk about your upbringing, your backgrounds, where you're born, where you grew up, and leading up to going to college, because that certainly lays the foundation for who you are today.
Yeah, so I was born in Taiwan. I was born in Taipei. My parents came here when I was one. They had $600 in their pocket when they came to America with a little baby, which is incredible because I can't imagine moving to Racine with $600 in my pocket. Like it just seems like an unbelievable thing to do. And grew up in San Francisco, and then college in New York State.
Right. So you had college, you went to Vassar.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie.
In Poughkeepsie, yeah.
You got a degree in film and drama.
Yep.
And then subsequently went to Georgetown University School of Business in my hometown of Washington, D.C.
I did a certificate program there. Not actually, they didn't admit me, but
okay.
It was, yeah.
All right, so talk about what it was you wanted to accomplish after you graduated, where you thought your career would take you.
So I graduated from Vassar with a degree in film, and I wanted to become Chinese George Clooney, right? And so after a couple of different odd jobs in Boston, one of which being a cook, as we'll talk about a little bit later, I got hired to write a screenplay, which got me out to Los Angeles, and gave becoming Chinese George Clooney a real shot. But unfortunately, like most people who move out to LA, I became a statistic.
Became a waiter or bartender or something. That is an interesting. But eventually you morphed into working in the nonprofit area. Yeah. So talk about how that transition, going from the Asian George Clooney to working in nonprofits.
Like most people who go out to Los Angeles, right, they end up bartending or becoming a server in a restaurant. My job after the money ran out was I became a government relations professional at the Jewish Federation of Greater Los Angeles. And that was, I think, the first time in my life where I really began to see that you could do well by doing good. I really began sort of getting, I would say I sort of cut my teeth in sort of like social welfare, social good through the values of Tikkun Olam and how Jewish communal values can really better a community, right, regardless of religion or faith or background.
Sure. So you spent about 10 years as the executive director for Feeding Wisconsin. About 10 years.
About 10 years.
And so you were instrumental in expanding the food banks here in Wisconsin. That's right. So talk about that, because food scarcity is a huge issue in some of our communities, and it's not just local. It's across the country.
Yeah. So when I was at the Jewish Federation in 2008, they began. During the banking crisis, they started seeing their mid-level donors start showing up at the Jewish food pantry that they invested in, and so I got to create the Jewish Federation of LA's anti-hunger initiative, and so that really got me into the world of anti-hunger. And as you mentioned, I spent some time at Feeding American National and then at Feeding Wisconsin, and I think the challenge really is that hunger is not a food production problem, right? We have more than enough food in the world. We waste actually more than we waste more food than we need, right? It's a distribution problem. It's about distributing not only the food to people who need it, but also money, resources, sometimes power, right, for people to access it. And so I think when people think about food scarcity, right, it's not scarcity. It's really how people are able to have the resources they need to be able to procure food on their own.
Right. Since you're aligned with UWM, do you know who Johnny Vaccaro is?
I don't.
Oh, she's a young woman who's been on the show, and she is fighting food scarcity. Lives in River West, works full time, goes to UWM full time, and she makes healthy meals for people in need,
right,
and delivers them on her bike.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
She's wonderful, and she's just she has her group is called, and a nonprofit called Sauce Milwaukee.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's incredible.
So yeah, she's another one, but it's like you said, it's just that she is out there trying to take part of where people are throwing stuff away. She goes to grocery stores and restaurants, and they just give her stuff that they were going to trash, and she uses it to make mostly vegan, mostly vegetarian, healthy meals, and distributes them throughout. So we can talk about her later. But hers is an interesting story.
That's incredible.
So some other nonprofit work that you've done.
Yeah.
You were the chief philanthropy officer for Ascension, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And then you were at Imagine MKE, which is an arts advocacy group here in Milwaukee. So talk about that work in the community.
Yeah, so I was the inaugural CEO at Imagine MKE, which, as you said, is Milwaukee's arts advocacy office, and it's such an incredible, it's such an important role, partially because Milwaukee, as you know, has incredible arts and culture organizations, and no real advocacy office to be able to lift up that story, right? Sure. I mean, in Wisconsin, you may know the stat that we are 50th or 49th in the nation in public funding for the arts, and so this incredible arts infrastructure, big, middle, and small sized organizations are all supported by philanthropy, essentially, right? And people who buy tickets, and so. I really think that arts and culture really is a public good, right? And how do we invest in it as such?
So that's another full circle part of your.
For me, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Started in film and drama and come back and work on an arts advocacy group.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, you were selected as the President GM of the NPR station 89.7 Radio WUWM. I'm glad I said that right. So talk about the work that's being done, some of the things you are looking forward to happening over the next, however long your tenure lasts there.
Yeah. I really think that in this day and age where we have such incredibly fragmented, not only media, but also communities, I think public radio is the place where we can continue to try to build understanding, right? And I often say this, that our mission at WWM is not only to get trusted, non-biased or unbiased news out to the community, and to tell incredible, inspiring stories about our community at human scale, about our friends and neighbors who make Milwaukee an incredible place to live, work, and play, but moreover, our mission is to help Milwaukeeans and people in Southeast Wisconsin love each other. Because only when they get to know each other and connect with each other, and essentially create that sense of brother and sisterhood, can we actually do the big things that are ahead of us right now. And to be very, very clear, right? The challenges that are facing us are big, but the people in our community who are making Southeast Wisconsin an incredible place. They're the ones who are gonna get us through this, right? Sure. And we need to figure out how we connect on that human level.
So that's another full circle situation for you, because you were a DJ in college.
Yes.
An overnight DJ. So Did you ever have the time when you kind of slipped and said some words that you probably shouldn't have said on the radio?
In Mandarin. In Mandarin, I would, and I don't know if they can revoke our FCC license now, 30 years later, but
statute of limitations.
Yeah, probably over. But no, I've never run afoul of FCC regulations ever in my life.
My son was a DJ in college. He went to Miami of Ohio, and he did a show called the Classic Rock Oasis.
Yeah.
Which college music, they're not playing classic rock. So he was a contrarian, much like his father. But he would every once in a while slip and he'd say, my program director's not listening. So I said, no, look, you gotta, sort your P's and Q's there.
Yeah.
And then he did play-by-play when he went to grad school in Tampa at University of South Florida. He did play-by-play for basketball and baseball, and I loved it. So I know how much that was probably a fun thing, but it's interesting that it's, you full circle. And another full circle thing, this is a show where we talk, we cook something, and then we eat it. And you had mentioned before, you were a chef.
I was.
You worked it was at Grafton Street.
Grafton Street.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Square, right?
Yes, that's right. It's still there.
Yeah. So given that you have a background as a trained chef, what are we cooking today?
We are making Cacio e Pepe, which is one of my favorite things to eat in all of Italian cookery, or I guess Roman cookery.
Right. And so we were discussing this before. The word cacio is the Roman dialect word for cheese, not formaggio, which is the Italian word. So we're cooking cheese and pepper with pasta, and we're going to love it because
it's going to be great.
Okay. All right. So we've done a little prep work. Give us a minute or two to set up, and then we'll be back cooking cacio e pepe. All right, David. Take it away.
All right, so Cacio e Pepe, super easy. It's basically 4-ish ingredients: pepper, cheese, pasta water. So the most important thing is to salt your pasta water. Probably a little bit less salt than you would put in pasta water, because here's the secret, Charlie, or here's my secret about Cacio e Pepe. Cook it in less water than you would for a pasta because you want really the starches to express, right? You want to have really, really starchy water because that's the secret of a really great cacio e pepe.
All right, so you're using bucatini, which many people don't know what it is. Why don't you tell us what bucatini is?
Bucatini is this incredibly thick pasta with a hole in the middle. So it's got great body, and the hole theoretically, or at least in my experience, really catches the cheese and pepper sauce that we're making.
It's used classically in carbonara, and it's also in most Roman pastas it's used because it catches the sauce.
That's right. We're using about half the box of pasta. Here's the other thing about cacio e pepe is that it's definitely meant to be eaten right when you make it, right? Because this thing doesn't really doesn't keep well.
Right. Yeah. So, and we roasted some broccoli with a little olive oil and garlic.
That was at 420 degrees for about 20 minutes.
There you go.
So basically, get your pasta in, and you gotta always give it like the nice first good stir, right, to make sure they don't stick.
Right. A lot of people like to just put it in the pot and then walk away. Well, that's not how you cook pasta.
Right. You gotta get it going, right, and then you can let it go for a bit.
So after we get the pasta going, we're going to you've put some pepper. We've got that over here.
So freshly ground pepper, cracked pepper. This is about a tablespoon. And we're going to toast it in this cast iron pan to get all the oils going.
All right. This would be my job, is to watch the pepper.
Low.
All right, so we're on medium low here in the big oven.
And it's just gonna toast to get those oils and flavors. And you can see they're it's pretty coarsely cracked, right? Because you want that texture.
All right. And then in classic Roman form, Pecorino cheese is used mostly because the actual name is Pecorino Romano, which means it was made in Rome, and Parmesan was made in Parma. So it's not, from a classic standpoint, it's not used, but everybody uses it.
Well, Parm is just so delicious, right? And also is Pecorino.
I have an Italian teacher in Pisa, and I showed her one time my recipe for carbonara where I used Parmesan, and she yelled at me. She said, no, Parmigiano, Pecorino. I said, okay, Elisabetta.
So this is going to go for about 8 or 9 minutes, okay, as we wait for that to get al dente, and then now we'll continue shredding some cheese.
All right. So we're going to shred a little cheese here.
So like Charlie, like you said, right? Like this is the Pecorino. It's a hard cheese.
It's a sheep's cheese, whereas Parm is from cow.
I like using the Parmesan because it melts a little bit more interestingly than the Pecorino, which can be a little bit clumpy. So the Parmesan will have a bit more, sort of give it a little more body.
And I'm helping over here. I'm stirring. Just making sure it doesn't stick together. And
so this is essentially about a cup of Pecorino and about 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan.
Right.
We're not worried about like exact measurements here, right? Because this is all going to be.
It's all going to be eaten no matter what. So.
Yeah. That's right.
Toast them
sure. Do that. Some burning, and then we're basically just ready. We're ready to go.
All right. So
we're just waiting for the pasta.
We'll be back as soon as the pasta's finished, and then we'll show you how we put it together. All right. So David said the pasta's ready.
Oh, so the best way to test whether or not pasta's ready, right, is to taste it.
Absolutely.
So we tasted it. It's just a little bit toothy, right?
Al dente.
So we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good to go.
All right. So we have our cracked pepper.
So we're going to turn this off. I can figure out how to do that.
Good. And we put our
peppers into the bowl.
All right.
We're going to get our cheeses.
There's the Pecorino and the Parmigiano. Both go in.
Make sure you get all of it.
Good.
Oh my goodness. Get that mixing a little bit. This is just going to start the pasting of the cheese.
You see the peppers mixed with the cheeses.
It's going to come together real fast. We're going to go straight from the pot into the bowl.
Very good.
And we're not worried about any of that water getting in because we're going to continue to be adding more of it.
That's why you save your pasta water instead of draining.
Yes, 100%. One of the best things known to cookery is pasta water. Okay, now it's just a matter of mixing.
A little scoop of pasta water.
The starchiness of the pasta water begins to emulsify the sauce.
About as simple as you can get. And as you and I were talking, Italian food is in itself simplicity. It's simple ingredients, mostly locally sourced. All right, so the pasta's getting tossed. We have the broccoli warmed, and I think we're going to add a little lemon to both the pasta and a little lemon zest, I should say, to the pasta and the broccoli. Maybe a touch of red wine vinegar, and then I think we're going to have to sit down and eat this, Dave.
I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back in just a minute. All right, so we got the broccoli,
broccoli. Just get that into the bowl.
We'll put that in serving bowl. One of my tricks, always use foil. Easy cleanup.
Easy cleanup.
Roasted garlic in there.
Roasted garlic.
All right.
get a little bit of. Here, this is the green one, right?
Yes. So we're going to put a little lemon zest
on the garlic.
And you were doing the pasta too?
Yes, yes, sir. Careful. It's hot.
Yes. A little lemon zest on the pasta.
A little bit of acid to balance out all the cheese and richness.
All right.
Good.
All right.
And then we're gonna just squeeze a little bit of lemon. A little bit of lemon for a little bit of freshness on the broccoli, and then we're good.
Good. All right. We'll head to the table. We're gonna taste it and see how we did. All right. Here we are. All right. So, Davis, tell us what we got here.
So we have Cacio Pepe with a little bit of lemon zest.
All right. And this is
Roasted broccoli, olive oil, lemon, and garlic.
Ooh. All right. You're the guest.
I get to go first.
Absolutely. Because I'm going to eat all the leftovers.
This is why you host this show, right?
Absolutely. Has it nothing else to do except this is my breakfast, so.
Same here. This is great.
So I'm going to serve us a little broccoli. Are you a garlic person?
I am.
Oh, good. So am I. So.
Love it.
Roasted garlic is few things like it.
I feel like the folks who leave the roasted garlic aside don't understand the lovely sort of like charry flavor.
A little bit. Okay. So I cheated you. Gotta make sure we get it.
There we go.
All right. So we're good there. All right. I'm gonna put mine right here. Napkin in my lap. A little pasta. All you people out there who cut your pasta, stop it. Twirl it with a spoon. Yeah, come on. You're a big boy. All right. Just give it a taste.
Does that happen? People cut their pasta still?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I'm such a food snob, it's just hard to watch. So simple. The cracked pepper makes such a difference instead of just the shaking, you know, some jarred pepper on it. So, your trick was to take a hard bottom pan and rock it back and forth to crack it. And it makes a difference. And the cheeses just kind of flow to the pasta. I can't tell you if it's in the middle of the pasta, but sure it is. I must taste the broccoli.
The pecorino really is like it's a really sort of a distinct flavor that's unlike any other cheese.
I wish my wife liked broccoli garlic as much as I did, because I'd cook it this way every time. But the garlic just,
yeah,
especially when you get a nice charred piece of roasted broccoli, fabulous. One more bite.
I love the pop of lemon. It's just like so fresh and.
Lemon is a great ingredient to use because it's not overpowering, but it just gives it a certain little kick that enhances the flavor in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So David, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for having this. So much fun.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Continue the great work that you do in the community as one of our community leaders. It's people we have on the show. We certainly appreciate all the work that's being done, trying to make our city a better place. And I get to eat well. So, thanks so much for watching, and appreciate all your support for Milwaukee Community Leaders. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode of Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Thanks for listening to another episode of Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders. Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders is brought to you by Cooking Secrets for Men, LLC, and was recorded in the 3rd Ward in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We feature and profile community leaders who are trying to make Milwaukee a better place. The tagline is, serious people with serious jobs having a little fun.
Our guests choose the recipes that we use on the show. All of our podcasts are available on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get great podcasts. The original YouTube video for this episode is available on our YouTube channel, Cooking Secrets for Men, all rights reserved. Thanks, and see you next time on Cooking with Milwaukee Community Leaders.